Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Feelin' Film. I'm Aaron, and this is day one of my Sundance 2024 journey. It is, roughly 2 o'clock at night at this point. My poor roommate is over here wanting to get some sleep, but he's being gracious enough to let me get this video out to you, or at least record it. I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to edit it. For those of you who haven't been to a film festival, it is go, go, go. It is movie. Eat when you can and try to get a little sleep, and then maybe you have time to write or podcast or make a video. So it may be out a little bit later than I wanted it to, but I wanted to get my thoughts out while they're fresh. I flew into Salt Lake City this morning because of that airline getting canceled on me yesterday. And I started my festival with one of my most anticipated movies, which was GirlsState from the directors Amanda McBain and Jesse Moss. I was a humongous fan of Boys State, their film that followed a Texas group of kids in a government program. I think they spent a week, might have been 2 weeks, not really sure. At this camp where they essentially set up a government, elect people, and go through trying to get some laws passed and things like that. It was eye-opening, kind of gave you a glimpse into what the future might look like, because these are the young people that are into politics right now and would be running for office conceivably in the next 10, 20 years. This time, they are covering girls. There's a girls' state in Missouri that they go to. Uniquely, the girls' state and boys' state programs are being held on the same campus. And that provides an element that the first film did not have, in addition to just being about girls and how different that is, how they build their government, how they approach this program compared to how the boys do. So I thought this was just about every bit as good as the first one and a perfect companion piece to Boys State. The girls that they follow are so sweet and so intelligent, so just incredibly ambitious and inspiring. It leaves you with a lot of hope, honestly. And it's really entertaining. I think that these directors are just masterful storytellers. The way that they follow them and kind of build up what is happening in a race to be elected for governor, which is the highest office. And so, of course, you've got quite a few different alpha personalities campaigning for that. They can't all win. And when we eventually see who wins, it's a surprise to the audience. And that's a fun thing to go through. There's a neat pivot, actually, at the end of the film with one of the characters we've been following, one of the girls that we've been following, maybe, I will say, not achieving the thing that she initially thought she wanted to achieve, but then doing something different that is more meaningful with a lasting impact than if she would have achieved what she thought she wanted in the first place. It's really cool how that happens. It's a diverse group of girls, and they are dealing with unique challenges. Like I said, the boys being on campus, there's a lot of talk about inequalities between the Boys State and the Girls State's programs. Like, why do the girls have to have a buddy everywhere they go, but the boys don't? Why do the girls have to monitor the way that they dress because the boys are on campus, but the boys don't? These are valid concerns, and there's a lot of feminism talk in this, and there's a lot of talk about abortion and privacy rights as well, because this was filmed right around the time of the most recent Roe v. Wade ruling. So that was high on everyone's minds. And yeah, this is just really intriguing to watch conservative, liberal, and middle-of-the-road girls come together, talk politics, and figure things out amongst themselves in a government setting. So I can't recommend both documentaries enough. Boys State, I think it's streaming on Apple TV now, so go check that out. Girls State is also Apple, and so it should be streaming at some point this year. So keep it on your radar, or if you're in Sundance, go get a screening of this one. It's fantastic. Second movie that I saw, I'm gonna have to look down. Sorry, I'm tired. My notes. Oh, Power. That's right. I went and saw Power. Power, Power, Power. Power is a documentary, I think by Netflix has picked this one up for distribution, that is a history of policing in the United States of America. It is almost entirely composed of archival footage going back decades. And essentially what we watch is this archival footage of police beatings and police control of the public intermixed with talking heads, interviews of scholars, and occasionally a police officer that's being followed as well in real time. In the present, I should say, they're following him on his beat and kind of using his precinct as a way of getting us a look at a current police system. This documentary also features some weird directorial flourishes. The director himself narrates at times, and I just don't think he has the voice for it. I don't think that was a smart choice. I think it was more of like hey, this is my documentary, so I want to talk, instead of this is the best voice for the audience to be hearing right now. There's also weird title cards that don't mesh at all with the tone. This is heavy, heavy stuff. I mean, the bottom line is that our history of policing sucks, and it goes back to all sorts of awful things in our country's history with racism and control. And walking through that step by step, seeing it grow, is a painful process, honestly. And then you get these title cards flash on screen that are like multicolored and just neon. It's weird. It's so weird. I didn't understand it at all. The bottom line was, this was about 90 minutes, and 45 minutes in, I was already overwhelmed with the feeling of hopelessness. And I never lost that. So I walked out of this wondering how we were ever going to fix it. And here's the thing, like, if you're going to be a documentary that tells me how bad life is in something that is happening in the world right now, if you're going to show me George Floyd's murder on camera and make me go through it all over again, and other recent acts that are like that, then you need to give me something that is hopeful at the end. You need to make a suggestion about how we can change things. But the movie basically ends with us learning that laws are not in our favor. Laws don't even hardly manage the police themselves, because the police are governed mostly by contracts that the police unions bargain for. It's just disgusting. And the budgets are skyrocketed. The federal government pours all this money into the police state. We learn about how the police state has become paramilitary and how our military has become police. It sucks. It just is a damning cycle. And while the history is important and it is very thoroughly shared, I came out of this not feeling any better about the world or the direction it was going, and with no idea of what I could do to help change that. So yeah, just kind of a lackluster experience overall because of that, I guess, and one that people are going to have to really be prepared for to get through. Third film I'll talk about is called Thelma. Now, Thelma's phenomenal. It's a fantastic movie. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat. I wasn't going to watch this. Somebody put it on my radar, thankfully, and I got to watch a screener of it before I left home. So I've been sitting on this review. But Thelma is about a 90-plus-year-old grandmother who, let me check something real quick. I'll get the names right for you. She's a 93-year-old widowed grandmother. And, she's a very typical grandma. She misplaces her hearing aids. She is reluctant to wear a fall detection bracelet that her grandson is begging her to wear for her own safety. She doesn't really know how to use email, and she, take accidental pictures when she's scrolling Instagram. She's just not very tech savvy. We start off with learning these things about her and about her relationship with her grandson, Danny. And it's wonderful. It's a beautiful, beautiful friendship that they seem to have. But pretty quickly, Thelma gets scammed. Something happens. Somebody pretends to be her grandson. I don't really buy the way that the scam goes down. It's one of my only dings on this movie. Is it happens pretty fast and it's kind of silly. Like somebody basically says, "Hey, I need you to go mail me $10,000 right now. Go cut a check and put it in the mailbox, and it has to happen right now. And go to this address." And she does it. And then after that, it's a movie about her determination to right wrongs, to fix her mistakes. And she embarks on essentially a Mission Impossible like quest to find the scammer, set things right, get her money back, and prove that she's capable of being alone. It's a beautiful story. Along the way, she teams up with an old friend of hers, Richard Roundtree, plays that character. The two of them together are just gold. It's like the perfect elderly buddy comedy that you never knew you needed. The movie also is just beautifully shot. Cinematography is awesome for a little indie film like this, and the score is wonderful. It's like a throwback, kind of bouncy detective music as they're poking along. She is a big fan of Ethan Hunt, so she is essentially trying to replicate being a spy as she's going on this mission. One of the fun things they do is they use their hearing aid apps on their phone, the two elderly folks, and they will flip phones and then turn the volume down so they can whisper into the phone and they can hear each other in their hearing aid so that the person in front of them can't hear them, but they can hear each other. It's just a really clever way of taking something that senior citizens have very commonly and turning that into a piece of spy tech, essentially. Danny himself has issues. His parents, played by Clark Gregg and Parker Posey. Literally every performance in this movie is fantastic, you guys. He's kind of unmotivated. He's in his early 20s. He's not really nailed down a career or anything. He's not got a lot of confidence. And so he goes through a little bit of a growth process as well along the way. But this is just a fantastic June Squibb vehicle. She is 93, I think, herself, maybe 94 now. This is her first ever leading role, which is just mind-boggling. I can't believe it. Like, Academy Award nominated actress, never had a leading role before now. And she kills it. At 94, she's crushing it. And I wouldn't be surprised if she does some more awesome stuff before she stops acting. I hope she does, because I would love to see her on screen again. Here, she is just the every person's grandma. Like, she's the person you want to hug. The relationships feel so authentic, so real, so sweet. I can't recommend Thelma enough. Put it on your radar. It's one that very easily could like fall beneath the priority structure on a film festival list because it doesn't stand out with its plot, but it is well worth being something you seek out. Okay, last but not least, excuse me, what is YourMonster. YourMonster, that's right. So this is my first ever experience in the famous Egyptian theater here in Park City, Utah. That was exciting. Also exciting was just happening to be standing at the front door of the theater when Melissa Barrera, the star of this movie, pulled up in a car, got out, and interacted with two young female fans in front of me that were just crying and going giddy about how she was their favorite actress. I got to take some pictures of the three of them together for their parents. It was just a lovely little neat kind of impromptu moment. And she looked beautiful as can be. Then we get into the movie, and I don't really know much about this either. This was so much fun. First ever midnight screening as well. And the energy that comes with a midnight screaming, I'd heard about screaming. The energy I'd heard about that comes with a midnight screening was absolutely there. We within that theater up until like 12:15 when the Q&A I think ended, and people were just like electric because of this movie and getting this experience. The movie's awesome. So Melissa Barrera plays a woman at the very beginning of the film. She is a theater actress. She's in a relationship with a theater director. She's been working on a play with him. She has been his muse. He's been writing it for her. She's going to be the star, but she has cancer. He dumps her pretty quickly. Like, this is all during the credits. He walks out on her while she's in the hospital. and ends the relationship. She goes home. She's depressed. She's going through treatment. Eventually, she finds a monster in her closet. And this monster is played by a man named Tommy Dewey. And he is a phenomenal, phenomenal performance. It's a really cool, almost like a Beauty and the Beast-esque type story. It's a monster movie, but it's also a rom-com. And it's also kind of a musical, because the stage play that they're working on, that is sort of the setting of where most of the action outside of her apartment takes place, is a musical itself. So Melissa Barrera, known for having a phenomenal singing voice, hello, Into the Heights, she does sing a lot in this, and it's just delightful. This movie goes places that I was completely unprepared for. I laughed, I cried, I smiled so big all the time, and I came home debating it on the ending. Like, it's kind of ambiguous. There's two very easy ways to read the whole movie after you see how it wraps up, and I could see how both of them would be valid and could be argued. That, to me, is exciting. Like, is it real? Is it not real? The movie is made so well that you just don't know for sure, and it's so fun to speculate which way it could go. It is sort of a feminist film. Like, it's about her taking back her pride. She is so beaten down, and through her relationship with this monster that comes out of her closet and apparently has lived in her house since she was a little girl, she is able to grow her ability. She finds the anger inside her and is able to unleash it eventually, is what this is all about. About how women suppress that when men are taking advantage of them, or even women, some of the relationships with her other friends in this film as well. And the women are very impactful. And it's just so good. I could see how people will read it in different ways because of its kind of feminist angle at the end. But I'm super hyped to talk to people and just hear out everybody's different opinions and then share my own, because I definitely have them. We stayed up here in the room talking about this movie for 30, 45 minutes before I finally got around to making this video. And I probably won't be the last time I talk about it. So YourMonster was a surprise hit for me so far at the festival. And I'm really excited to see this one again, whatever first opportunity I get. Well, it's late, and I've been talking your ear off, but thank you for sticking around and watching this and listening to my thoughts on these Sundance Film Festival movies as I see them. I'll be back tomorrow or the next day or as soon as I can, because I gotta get some sleep. I'll be back soon. Until then, keep watching and keep feeling